Hello, SMM Sunday School. It's Mother Johanna again. How is Lent going? I find it hard not having chocolate, but this is only the second Sunday of Lent, but hang in there, because, well, God promised that Easter will be a great gift, so it's worth the wait. Talking about promises, another big word, covenant. Okay, I like big words because big words actually means something not that scary actually. Covenant actually means an agreement between two parties. In other words, it's a promise. Okay, covenant, it actually appears for 231 times in the Bible. So that's a very important thing to note. Covenant is very important, and God usually start or initiate a covenant. Let me tell you a story. Remember in the Old Testament, we have Abraham and then his wife Sarai. So God promised Abraham that, I promise you that you have a baby, and then your generation will be so many that you can't even count them. But Abraham was 99 years old, and he was just saying, praying to God. Abraham said, God, have you forgotten about your covenant with me? You told me that I would have a baby. I'm now 99 years old and still no baby. So God said, well, why don't you go outside? Okay, so Abraham did. Okay, let's see what happened. And God said, well, look up. Count the stars in the skies. And Abraham looked up and thought, there are just way too many stars. There's no way I can count each and every single one of them. And God said, yep, exactly. I told you that you would be a father to that many people throughout the generations. So when I said you will have a baby, yes, I promise you that will happen. And Abraham said, wow, okay, so this time God said, well, Abraham, guess what? I'm going to change your name from Abraham to Abraham, which means fathers of all nations. That means your descendants will be more than the stars in the skies. And this time, Abraham really believed. A few things. We talked about covenant and Abraham. Well, God changed his name from Abraham to Abraham. Abraham means esteemed father. Oh, he's a really good father. And the Abraham actually means father of many. So there is something special there. Why am I telling you this story? Well, we make agreements all the time. Say, if I make an agreement with you, say every single time when you see alligator, I jump up. Try again. After a while, I say, that's too tired. I'm not doing anymore. I broke my promise. But God never broke his promise. And this is very important because many times we believe something with our head. That's what we believe in. I'll see when I believe it. That's good, but we can do more. And this time around, Abraham, after God changed his name to Abraham, said, well, I'm going to trust you. That's a very big difference, because when you actually trust God, that is actually the big word, what we call faith. What's the difference? Okay, if you only believe it and say, well, I believe it when I see it, you only believe it with your head. But if you believe with your head, your heart, and your soul, and all your mind, and all yourself, that means trust. You actually trust that God will do what God said he would do. And that is faith. And that's a very important thing, because Lent is a time of waiting. And many times we doubt and say, maybe God has forgotten about what God promised us. So when God starts a covenant, a promise, it's almost like, okay, I'm going to enter into a handshake with you. This is you and me. And God will just lock it. So every now and then, you and I are thinking, I'm not seeing anything that God promised. Where is God? And you try to get out. Sorry, nope, because God said, well, I started this, I locked it, and I will actually honor everything that I promise. So this is one thing we have to remember. Trust God, because God knows everything, and God promised one thing, which is very important. That is, God will always be with us, no matter it's good time or bad time, 24/7, every single second of the day, God will be with us. And that's a promise that God will never break. So maybe you go through a hard time, you're still wondering, when is this pandemic going to be over? Oh, what's Easter going to be looking like? Don't worry about it. It is just normal, because we need, well, sometimes we just need to see, but then, no. Faith, this big word, is all about trust. So I'm going to challenge you this week. Anytime when you have doubts about, I don't know if God remembered, God say, well, God will be with me every single time. I'm going through a tough time. Where are you, God? I can't see you, can't hear you. God is there. Just because you can't feel it doesn't mean God is not around. And this is all what trust is all about. And trust is actually the big word called faith. It's actually not that scary. You just trust. Okay, so this week, try and put everything that you're so worried about, just put it in God's hand. Trust God. God will take care of it. Until then, keep praying and stay safe, and I'll see you next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.